Redmi have today confirmed the launch date of the Redmi Note 8 series, the Redmi Note 8 and the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So yesterday we saw the Realme 5 series launch, the Realme 5 and the Realme 5 Pro. I thought the Realme 5 series yesterday gave us a lot of value for money, really good specs, good camera setups, and good prices too. But Redmi are not to be outdone. We've got similar camera setups in the Note 8 series. The Note 8 Pro is going to be coming with a quad camera setup and that new 64 megapixel shooter. Redmi today confirmed August the 29th as the launch date for that series. They earlier teased a Redmi TV for the 29th of August, and so I assumed that they were also going to release some phones on that date too. They wouldn't have a launch event just for a TV. More live leaks and loads of rumors about these phones before they're going to be released. So according to those rumors, the Note 8 non-Pro variant will feature a Snapdragon 665 processor. Now this one focuses slightly more on the graphics component rather than the speed of the CPU. But that makes sense considering these phones are packing improved cameras and that will help with gaming too. And most people agree that the Pro version looks like it might be getting the Helio G90T chipset. A lot of people may wonder why Redmi are going for this chipset compared to just putting in a Snapdragon. Snapdragon is such a powerful brand. When you have one of those processors in your phone, people instantly know more or less what they're going to get out of it. I think it's a clever move by Redmi though, because we've already seen Realme launch their phones. We know exactly what's in them, and if Redmi just launch basically the same phones with virtually the same specs, it doesn't really differentiate the two brands. Having this chipset definitely gives them something they can talk about and say that the Helio chipset gives this and that, which is better than Snapdragon's, for example. The Realme 64 megapixel camera phone will be called the Realme XT, and the Redmi phone will just be called the Redmi Note 8 Pro. The Realme XT though won't be launched until the end of September, possibly the beginning of October. And I assume that the Redmi Note range will follow that timeline as well. The 64 megapixel is new, and so will probably come after the Redmi Note 8. Not to be outdone though, Oppo are releasing the Reno2 series, which is going to have quad cameras too. It makes sense. Realme, the sub-brand of Oppo, having quad cameras in all of its phones, only makes sense that Oppo puts them in their phones too. More specs have been leaked about this phone. Rumors suggesting that it may use the Snapdragon 730G chipset. This chipset has slightly boosted graphics performance over the 730. It doesn't have the highest CPU clock speed, so that phone is tipped to come with a quad camera, 48 megapixel main sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 13 megapixel zoom camera, and also a 2 megapixel depth sensor. I would assume that the 48 megapixel camera is the Sony IMX586, the same one that they use in the Oppo Reno 10x zoom edition and a few other phones. And the inclusion of a 6.5-inch OLED screen would make that all around a really decent device, but the Redmi K20 exists. The Redmi K20 has a triple camera, a Snapdragon 730, which isn't going to be too far away from the 730G, and an OLED screen. Not to mention the Redmi K20 has actually had its price reduced since it first came out, so that's a really good deal right now. And if Oppo keep to their pricing strategy, it won't be as cheap as the Redmi K20. Not to mention the Oppo Reno 10x zoom edition has an ultra-wide camera, but you can't use it for shooting video, which is just the craziest thing I've ever seen. It has an ultra-wide camera, you can't shoot video on that, whereas on the K20, you can. So let's wait and see what that Reno2 series is bringing us. That will be released first in India, not in China. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.